What is going on, everybody? This is episode 806 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And we're going to just stick straight with Georgia Southern because you already know the Falcons are looking good. They're looking great. I'm repping the hat right now. They're looking great. I have no quarrels with them winning pretty much a big game in the division when it comes to the Bucks. 4-0 in the division. They're in the driver's seat right now with the division lead. You take the division, you get in the playoffs, and possibly host a home game. So not much to talk about there. Want to see better pass rush, but other than that, we're Gucci. We good. Let's talk about the Georgia Southern Eagles. We got a lot to talk about with them because after them getting beat by Old Dominion, they're about to go into the Jaguars' den of South Alabama, and they're about to have. There's possibly they could have some problems. And if this happens, they have problems. They walk away with the L. They're going to be flirting with a repeat of years past. The last 2 years, they couldn't get over 6 wins. Right now, they're at 5. Could they get to 6? Let's see how it goes. We're going to talk about this. I'm also going to talk about a little bit with South Alabama. Not necessarily get into the ins and out of the game and do that later on this week, but I need to talk about Georgia Southern them because this is an internal issue we need to talk about. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can check out the videos that I do here pretty much every day, every other day, where I talk about either Georgia Southern football or Atlanta Falcons football and everything in the umbrella. I also can be found on X at VF Baller, where over there I talk about things that don't necessarily make it to the show. Just had a phenomenal week, basically, on a cruise. Me and my wife and my son, we went on a cruise. We had a great time. It was absolutely amazing. The only damper about that was watching the Georgia Southern game, and that was kind of crazy to see how that play out. And me being on the cruise, just watching it, and then it kind of put a damper on a little small part of the vacation. But overall, it was great going to a couple islands, and I kind of wish that Georgia Southern would have came back to Statesboro with a W. Now they see themselves digging themselves into a hole. Hopefully they don't get out. They don't make it into a hole completely. They can get out of this and get back on the right track. It's not going to be an easy game. South Alabama is a team that put up 80 something points on somebody earlier this year. They put up 40 something points on App State, and they just got They recently beat the leader of the Sun Belt West, ULM. I think they are the leader of the Sun Belt West. Beat them like by 40-17 or something like that. I mean, they blew them out. Georgia Southern just came off of a loss where they, got beat by Old Dominion. I think it was like 47-19 or something like that. I can't remember the final score. I'm kind of disappointed at that whole situation. But Georgia Southern it really need to find some soul searching right now. You do not want to go into a situation where you're going to end up being 5-4, and you were pretty much kind of like still in the driver's seat of the Sun Belt East, but you got to win these games, man. You basically going to have to win out just to have a chance, possibly, because you don't know what Old Dominion's going to do. And you still got to worry about Marshall in a sense. And these games don't come easy. Georgia Southern could be in a situation where they could be spiraling out of control again. Coach Clay Helton and company going to have to find a way to get this on track immediately. And for them to go to Mobile, Alabama and have to deal with a team like this, just to avoid that is not the best way to start off. We have to get ourselves in position to start winning some of these games. Now, is this game winnable? Yes. Is it an uphill battle? Absolutely. But Georgia Southern does have the talent to win these games. I really believe with the Old Dominion game, I think the scheme that was drawn up for us to play against Old Dominion was way out of whack. I don't know what the defensive coordinator was doing, but we didn't have a safety in the middle of the field probably like probably until like the third quarter. And I mean by then, I mean you're getting blown out at that point. And I mean you got to play your 4-2-5 in a sense where you got to have somebody over the middle of the field, because they were just gashing us over the middle of the field with the passing game, and it was just an onslaught. Now, like I said, later on this week, I'm going to look into South Alabama, but I'm pretty sure their running game is actually pretty good. I think they ran for like 300 and something yards this past game. But, one thing that we can do that I've noticed that Georgia Southern can do, they can do something against the run. They're pretty good front seven wise. The problem is is the secondary is the one that's is constantly getting gashed at some for some reason. Outside of the Ashton Genty game, we did okay with against the run. Georgia Southern's going to have to do something with that defensively. Offensively, I don't know what to say. I mean, I think we have all the tools to be successful. There's also rumblings that Jalen White is still not 100%. OJ Arnold, we just could not able to run the ball that well this past game. We need to get the running game going. And the one way I say to get the running game going, you have to spread out these defenses. To be honest with you, this is exactly what Old Dominion did. They spread out our defense and found ways to run the ball, and they set us up with the pass. This is pretty much what the talent level of Georgia Southern, that what you have. You have like 4 or 5 receivers that everybody has to cover at some point because all of them are dangerous. And even with the tight end, Tyler Fromm, pretty dangerous. Just ask JMU. We were able to exploit that, but then you turn right back around and you can run the ball out of that because you have everybody spread out. It's probably one of your best ways to get get some yards against any team. Probably one of the best ways to do it because at the end of the day, you're going to have to find a way to hold on to the ball, keep the ball, and score points. Scoring points in bunches is great, but at the end of the day, you want to, lean on a defense. You want to lean on the opposing defense and make them quit, make them not want to come back on the field after you done ran a good bit of, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, in some cases 15 play drives. When you start doing that, these defenses don't want to deal with all the weapons Georgia Southern has, but unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that last game, and we started to see a little bit of it late in the game, but, that's still kind of like garbage time. Really what Georgia Southern has to do, you have to go in there and try to find a way to win this game. If you don't win this game, there are going to be rumblings for Coach Clay Helton to possibly be removed. And unfortunately, that you got to start thinking it's somewhat justified. Even though they're still going to be 5-4, you saw this song and dance for the last 2 years. And people are going to say, well, the first year is not his fault. The second year, he's still rebuilding. But now it's year 3. You can't really lean on, the past, regime, when they had some of their players are still here, but you can't lean on that regime to say, hey, I'm still doing this. After year 3, man, what we saw when we beat Georgia State, when we beat JMU, when you saw those, that's the progression you need to start seeing. When we went to beat Nevada, those are the type of progressions that you want to see. But now, we already saw this song and dance before. We're starting to backslide a little bit, and that 5-3, it's not looking really good. We saw this before when we were on top of the Sun Belt East, and then we just fell off a cliff. And they're flirting with this year, they're flirting with that same history again. And what needs to change, we need to get a win in the win column. And even then, you're not necessarily out of the woods yet because that's still only 6 wins out of the season. We want to see, at least, honestly, I thought the first year we could have won 8 games. We should have went 8-4 that first. We ended up going 6-6, 6-7. And then I kind of toned it down. No, I take that back. The second year I said it again, we could win 8 games. We were 6-2 at one point, and we couldn't get another win to save our life, let alone 8 wins. So this year, we're 5-3. We're still in the driver's seat. This game that you're going to be playing against South Alabama is a tough one. I just don't see it. Maybe if they lose this game, you still have a chance to win out. I mean, the rest of the games, I'm not going to say that they're easy, but most of these other teams that you've seen play already, they're not as prominent as an Old Dominion, JMU, or even in this case, South Alabama. You still got Coastal Carolina. You're going to still have, what's the other team? Appalachian State. I think you still have Troy. You still got those teams. And those teams aren't that, they're not showing to be that good. But then again, we thought the same way about Old Dominion, and you saw what happened. You know what I mean? I mean, they were under 500 when they beat us. So there's no guarantees. But the way Georgia Southern is built, the offense and the defense and the personnel, not only just on the field, but on the sideline, the way this team is built, they should be able to beat anybody in the Sun Belt. especially the way the Sun Belt has played out so far. You're basically a little bit more than halfway through the season, and now we're having concerns about, can this team finish strong? And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it's not looking good. It's not. As much as everybody wanna, still be, on on the bandwagon, or just be on the train to say, hey, look, we can still win the Sun Belt. Hey, I'm with you. I'm not saying that it's over, but it's not looking good. Especially when you've seen the last 2 seasons, man, it's not looking good. This is almost like a repeat. You beat Georgia State. You thought you were still up, and everything was on up and up. And you turn right around and you beat JMU. You're like, oh no, you beat Marshall and you beat JMU. You're like, okay, we're rolling right now. You know what I mean? We're rolling. We're about to do what we thought we was gonna do in year 3, and then you get smacked around by Old Dominion, and you're about to go against another team that's known for smacking around teams. Now you're looking like, all right, what's going on here? What is going on? Are we going to be able to overcome this? Because once you go down 5-4, people are going to start looking side-eye. Maybe you can win the next 3 games after that, but it's not. Like I said, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. I don't know. I don't like to be the big, negative side of the spectrum when it comes to any of these teams, whether it be Georgia Southern or the Atlanta Falcons. I don't like to be on the negative side of any of this stuff. But we got to be honest, after 2 years of what we saw and what we see right now, there is some, some concerns here. There are some concerns. So let me know what you guys think. I mean, am I tripping? Should I still hold out and wait and see how this game plays out? Or, things going to be different this year? I really hope it does. I hope it be good. I hope it turns around for this season, starting with this game, because right now we're looking at a situation where we're probably going to be like 6-6 again if we don't turn it around now. You start, that little bit of doubt start to set in, coaching staff wise, maybe even on the players. And it's not fair, man, because this team is too good to be going through this. They need to be competing at a high level with every single team they go up against. They have the talent to do it, So I don't know. I'm going to get up out of here. Hopefully the defensive coordinators get on their job and they'll be able to, put some players in the right position so we don't get gashed over the middle and not try to be so blitz heavy. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think. Am I tripping? Am I bugging? I don't know what I'm talking about. Y'all let me know. Should Georgia Southern get a pass? Should we just sit back and say, hey, they're going to be all right? Let's watch them play and see how it goes. What do y'all think? You think Georgia Southern is going to fall off a cliff again after like they did the last 2 years? I mean, me personally, my gut feeling right now, I feel that they're probably, and I hate to say it like this, I'm not going to say they probably. I can see them losing this game and running the table with the last 3. I can see them doing that. Beating Coastal Carolina, beating Troy, and beating Appalachian State. I can see that happening. But we'll see. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm going to get up out of here. YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Follow me on X or Twitter at VFBaller. And subscribe to the channel on the YouTube side if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. Or you can follow me on Rumble, or any on Spotify, Apple. I really would appreciate it. All right, y'all, I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all take it easy and y'all be blessed. Peace.